Amazing stories of survival after the storm strike.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed.
From the air and on the ground.
Unbelievable. Like the Wizard of Oz movie.
We're with the victims and the National Weather Service as they survey the damage in the tornado disaster zone.
Plus a former officer on the other side of the law. Why he and his girlfriend are in trouble after a sex sting.
And cooking up trouble with kids inside, we're there for a big bust. A lot to cover tonight.
Channel 11 News at 5 starts right now.
Live, local, late-breaking, broadcasting in high definition. Channel 11 News starts with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
It's been a devastating 24 hours since the storm strike. Images of a twister like the one behind me right now being replaced by new pictures and video. And Darieth has that. Darieth?
And David, today we really had a chance to take a good look at the damage. You can see here from Chopper 11, home after home with roofs ripped off, yards and pools torn to pieces. The real power of Mother Nature at work. The cleanup now is just beginning in Westmoreland County. And here is the very latest. Today, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF2 tornado with 120-mile-per-hour winds hit Westmoreland County. At least 90 homes are either damaged or destroyed. There are reports of injuries, but most are minor. And we're waiting for the Hempfield School District to decide if there will be class tomorrow. The storm tore a path through several communities in Westmoreland County. And tonight we're on the scene of several of the hardest hit places. From the community of Wilton through Arona, and finally on to Fort Allen in Hempfield Township. We're hearing different stories of loss and survival. We have live Team 11 coverage tonight, beginning with Channel 11's Courtney Brennan in the heart of that Fort Allen neighborhood where so many homes have been damaged and destroyed. Courtney?
Darieth, today was our first day to get a look at the full scope of this damage. You can see the enormous tree that was uprooted behind me basically demolished this gentleman's yard, and his home right there is cut in half. His kitchen and his living room exposed to the elements. As we made our way down Fosterville Road here in Fort Allen, every home told a different story. This one to my left, the entire top half of the home is missing. Across the street, that house is missing its roof, and the massive cleanup effort that started this morning will continue for weeks to come.
This actually is our kitchen here, and our dining room and our living room pretty much got the worst of it.
Jason Dilley and his wife were supposed to move into this house on Fosterville Road this weekend, but only half of their home is still standing.
They were pretty much all new, about a year old. All of our appliances are pretty much gone now, and a lot of our wedding gifts and everything that we got from our wedding.
The tornado split the home in two. Their furniture is now a pile of wood chips. Their bathroom is unrecognizable. And yet the 3 bedrooms in the back are spotless.
I don't even think there's a crack in the wall. It's simply amazing.
What was also amazing and very scary were the enormous trees uprooted in the backyard. They smashed everything in their path.
It happened to fall into our pool, and it took out our whole entire fence in our shed back here. So it pretty much got everything we owned.
The Dilleys are just one of many families in this Fort Allen neighborhood digging out after this tornado. Donna Ross and her daughter were home when it hit. They took us inside for a quick tour.
And it just split the walls here. That's knocked everything boom, came forward on the walls.
The damage was extensive, but not one life was lost in this neighborhood. No one was even hurt. But the destruction will be costly, and for some, the sheer memory of that tornado will haunt them for quite a while.
I actually didn't even want to come back. I mean, it's horrible to say because we have the least amount of damage compared to everybody around us. But yeah, it's indescribable. I mean, just rubble everywhere.
And we are standing inside that home that we showed you in the piece. I am in the Dilley's kitchen that is exposed to the elements. Their entire property is basically destroyed, as well as the properties on the left and the right of them. They told me earlier today they hope to bulldoze this property if they can, have a fresh start and build a brand new home. Reporting live in Fort Allen, Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
And let's get you another perspective here. You can see just how bad the situation is in Fort Allen. If you compare images taken before and after the tornado, in this case, the roof is gone, and you can see inside the top floor of the house. Just amazing. Now take a look at two homes on Fosterville Road and the damage they suffered. Debris covers the yard, and even the backyard pool is smashed up. And take a look at another one of the homes missing a roof. We used a satellite image to get the before pictures. Finally, a look at what happened to several homes along that same road. The home on the right doesn't look like it had too much damage compared to its next door neighbor.
And the cleanup is on at nearby Hempfield High School. All schools in that district were closed today. School leaders were expected to make a decision about school tomorrow by 4 today, but that hasn't happened as of yet. Students who were at the high school when the storm hit posted this video on YouTube. They watched the funnel get very close before taking cover inside the building. We're taking a look at more of the damage at the school in our next half an hour, so don't go away. Before hitting Fort Allen, the tornado ripped through the community of Rilton. Some people there lost their homes, but tell us they're lucky to have their lives.
Something you see on TV that you'd never imagine in a million years would happen to you. And people take life for granted.
This woman's entire family escaped without injury, but their home, as you see, is a total loss. And today we learned just how powerful and big this tornado was. Channel 11 Scott Harbaugh walked with the National Weather Service as they determined the twister's path.
Officially an EF2 tornado on the Fujita scale that ranges from 0 to 5. Maximum sustained winds with this storm, 120 miles per hour. You can see the devastating damage it did in its 6 to 7 mile path. Now, it was sporadic. It did go up and down a little bit, but basically from Rilton all the way to here in Fort Allen, it was a destructive tornado. Fred McMullen from the National Weather Service says not all damage like this necessarily means it was a tornado, but this one had some telltale signs.
What we do is we look for like projectiles. Do we see things in places they don't belong? Do we see twigs stuck in mortar, 2x4s wedged in the ground that we can't pull out by ourselves? And if we see that, that's the first key that we see that we're dealing with a potential tornado. So all the trees kind of curve going the same direction, you know, from right to left. And what we see that here with the trees kind of all coming this direction here.
And this is not a flat area. This twister went up hills, through valleys, and across the Pennsylvania Turnpike. The great reminder that anyone can experience a tornado.
You're never removed from Mother Nature, never removed from a tornado. If you're in a valley or on a ridgetop, again, you know, both places are susceptible to be damaged by a potential tornado.
So the official number is 6 to 7 miles in length and more than 3 football fields wide at its widest point. And of course, 90 homes damaged, 30 of those completely destroyed. In Westmoreland County, Scott Harbaugh, Channel 11 News.
Our Team 11 coverage continues now with the aftermath near the town of Arona. Target 11 investigator Rick Earl discovered that at least 5 people there were hurt in the storm. One of them has an amazing story to tell us tonight. Rick joins us live with this survival story, and it's one you'll see only on 11. Rick.
Yeah, Darieth, everywhere you turn here, there's destruction and debris. Take a look to my left. You can see lumber and trees down littering this yard. There's also some insulation here, some shingles as well, all over this place. Take a look to my right here. You can see this is actually a roof that was blown off of a building about 50 yards behind us. And if you look right across the street right there, you can see that trailer. It actually flipped over. Now, earlier today, I talked to a man who was inside a trailer just like that when the tornado blew him away.
I'm okay. I got very sore, hips and just stiff, real stiff.
74-year-old Joe Bukowski is recovering at his home in Arona after a harrowing experience Wednesday afternoon. Take a look in his driveway, the back of his pickup truck several feet in the air, and the camping trailer connected to the pickup now on its side. Bukowski was actually inside the trailer getting it ready for vacation when the tornado blew in and flipped it.
So the floor became the wall, and I went down and hit the cabinets. I flew across the trailer.
His wife Ruth rode out the storm inside the pickup truck.
The truck was rocking back and forth. I thought it was going to flip too. It didn't, luckily, but there was siding and shingles and chairs. Honest to God, I never saw anything like it in my life.
Ruth said she tried to get her husband out but couldn't reach him, so she called 911. Rescue crews had a difficult time getting to this area because of all of the trees that were knocked down. 2.5 hours later, they finally made it here. They pulled him to safety by cutting a hole in the roof of the trailer. Bukowski believes he's lucky that the trailer was attached to the pickup truck.
I could have kept rolling. It's amazing. 5,000, 6,000 pound trailer, you know, and then you're just standing there and it just picks it right up and now it turns it over like nothing.
Bukowski suffered a fractured vertebrae. He won't be going on vacation anytime soon, but says he will be okay.
I've never been near a tornado, you know, so it's something I don't want to be near again.
And Joe Bukowski was rushed to Westmoreland Regional Hospital last night where he was treated for some scrapes and bruises. Today, of course, he's recovering at home, and he tells me he's not so sure if he's going to get back into that trailer. That is the very latest, reporting live near Arona. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
Chief Meteorologist Julie Bologna joins us now with a look at the storm's power and path.
And Julie, it was this time yesterday we were beginning to see all that damage.
That's right. We're getting the reports around 4 and especially by 5. A lot of folks are feeling the effects of it. But here are those tornado details. On the enhanced Fujita scale, got up to 2. That range is 111 to 135 miles per hour. That particular tornado in Westmoreland County had top winds at 120 miles per hour, a 6 to 7 mile long path, but only was on the ground for 1 to 2 miles. So what happens is you have these tornadoes, they touch down, lift back up into the cloud, then touch down again. But again, only in 1 to 2 mile path of destruction on the ground caused a lot of problems, not only for that tornado, but look at the widespread storm reports out there. As you can see, we did see areas getting golf ball sized hail and very strong winds. We'll talk more about that in a few more minutes, but now we'll send it back to you.
All right, Julie, we have a lot more viewer pictures and video online at WPXI.com. There's slideshows with hundreds of pictures. You can still send us your photos, and we'll also see the raw video there from Chopper 11, as well as video of the funnel cloud forming.
In other headline news tonight, a former Pittsburgh police officer is on the other side of the law, arrested in a prostitution bust. Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky explains the accusations new at 5 tonight. Renee.
Darius, I had a long talk with the chief of police this afternoon here in Moon, and he hopes that this arrest sends a strong message to the community. If you solicit sex or facilitate it in any way, even if you are a former law enforcement officer, you will be arrested. He is a retired Pittsburgh police detective. She is a convicted prostitute with a Florida address and a rap sheet an inch thick. Tonight, both 55-year-old Talieve Kevin Gafour and 43-year-old Sabina Erlene Saylor are in the Allegheny County Jail, busted in an undercover sting in Moon Township on Wednesday.
We do prostitution stings out here in Moon Township. We're right beside an international airport. We have about 15 hotels, and we want to let people know that if you come out here, you're in jeopardy of arrest for prostitution.
According to the Moon police chief, detectives were checking this adult internet site when they spotted this ad soliciting customers in Pittsburgh. An appointment with Sally was arranged at this Moon Township hotel, and after an agreement on sexual services and in exchange of cash, Saylor and the man police say drove her to the appointment and provided his cell phone to set up the illegal act, were both arrested. I did some checking and found out Talieve Kevin Gafour left the city police department more than a year ago. He retired following his controversial role in a city homicide case in which he testified against fellow police officers, testimony that brought an investigation by the DA's office. I found this YouTube video of Gafour defending a homicide suspect, Joseph Hall, and lashing out at investigating officers. And the chief tells me that the hotel management is really happy with this arrest. They don't want that kind of business. Both suspects tonight in jail charged with felony counts of promoting prostitution and criminal conspiracy. Reporting live in Moon tonight, I'm Renee Kaminsky, Channel 11 News.
And continuing coverage of the storm strike across western Pennsylvania. We're going neighborhood by neighborhood to put together more images from Chopper 11 of the damage.
How turning off the technology could be the key to a better night's sleep.
But first, cooking up trouble. Dangerous chemicals discovered in a home with children inside. We're learning what else investigators uncovered.
Cooking up trouble. We're there as police in protective suits raid a suspected meth lab. It was a danger to neighbors, but what's worse is that police say children were living inside of the home. Channel 11's Alan Jennings shows us what officers found in this morning in Apollo.
This is the house right here, 508 North 6th Street in quiet Apollo. Narcotics investigators spent hours carting out all kinds of chemicals and all kinds of drugs.
Here they are in protective suits, bagging and tagging the evidence.
They're suited up to prevent skin contact and inhalation dangers from what investigators call a mid to high level meth lab. The alleged mastermind of the operation, 39-year-old Brandon Watterson. One neighbor, fearing for her safety, agreed to talk if we protected her identity. If there were drugs in there, you're obviously glad they got them out of there.
Yep, because of my grandchildren, yeah.
When cops moved in to arrest Brandon Watterson, they found a child in the house with him.
We had a 4-year-old juvenile who was taken into protective custody and is currently in the custody of Children and Youth Services.
The DA told us the house was a cover for an ongoing meth lab and credited the state attorney general's office for lending its clandestine lab task force to help make the bust.
Investigation is ongoing, and we anticipate additional arrests as the investigation goes forward.
Brandon Watterson's new home for now is the Armstrong County Jail. In Apollo, Alan Jennings, Channel 11 News.
And more details now on another meth lab bust earlier this month in Armstrong County. Back on March 4th, officers raided a home in Parks Township. Investigators say they learned about the operation involved in today's bust through evidence gathered in this case. 2 children lived in the home and several people were arrested.
One person's dead after a house fire in Venango County. According to our partners at the Derrick, the fire began early this morning on Cooper Drive in Oil City. A Channel 11 News viewer emailed us this video of flames shooting from the home. A second person was hurt.
Police arrest a suspect accused of calling in fake prescriptions in Kennedy Township. This is a photo of her. We're waiting for police to release her name. They say she used a doctor's name to call in painkiller prescriptions to this pharmacy. Police interviewed her in January, but she later got away. She claimed she was picking up the prescriptions for her sister.
It's not your typical burglary bust. Police say someone stole a baby monitor and disposable diapers 2 weeks ago from a home in Derry Township, Westmoreland County. The items are estimated at about $200. Right now, police have no leads.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast in high definition.
Good evening. Much quieter out there right now compared to yesterday, when right now during this time we were going through severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, and now it's much quieter. We don't have severe weather in the forecast tonight. We don't have the snow like we saw this morning. We have decreasing clouds and quiet conditions. You can see on Storm Tracker, Doppler 11 radar that we're not looking at any precipitation just yet. We're going to get a break for at least a couple of days until we head toward the weekend. What we're looking at, clouds on the decrease tonight. Much colder weather, though. We're looking at lows in the teens and highs only in the 30s. Then I'm tracking that next storm system, giving us a chance at rain and snow late Saturday into Sunday. So we're going to keep that severe risk down to the low side with those decreasing clouds and quieter conditions. Certainly some very chilly temperatures headed our way. Right now we're seeing a little sun with a temperature near 40 degrees. Certainly much better weather to allow folks to clean up after yesterday's damage from the storms. And if you didn't have a chance to do it today, we're going to have decent weather into tomorrow to do just that. The winds right now out of the north and northwest at 13. Dew points on the low side in the teens as well. Check out the numbers right now. Franklin, you're only at 34. Clarion 36, Indiana at 37, Butler also in the upper 30s. Once you head down to Pittsburgh, we're right at 40 degrees here. Morgantown chilly down to 35, and Deep Creek at 27. So everybody feeling the chill tonight. We have high pressure building in. You can already see the clouds beginning to decrease. So as we head through the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see decreasing clouds. At the same time, we'll see lighter winds and falling temperatures. So by 9 o'clock, we're down to 29. By the morning rush tomorrow, we'll see sunshine, but you need your winter coat. 19 the low temperature at 7 a.m. Forecasting highs well below average. Typically, we see a high in the low 50s. Instead, tomorrow, down in the upper 30s at 39 degrees. Here's your extended forecast, the 5-day outlook. Dry with plenty of sunshine for Friday at 39. As we head towards Saturday, will be partly sunny. More clouds toward evening with a high near 40. Now, the next storm system, not a very strong one. It's well to the south of us, but it could be enough instability to give us a chance for some snow showers late Saturday night into Sunday. Then a little rain mixing in perhaps toward the afternoon with a high at 39. But even then, it's hit or miss activity at 30%. By Monday and Tuesday, we're back in the 40s and eventually getting up to the upper 40s as we head toward Tuesday with dry weather expected. Now back to you, David and Darius.
And Pittsburgh continues to shine as a hotspot for tourists and conventions. Visit Pittsburgh announced today they booked 472 meetings and conventions in 2010. They also anticipate these will bring in around $286 million into the city. Hotels also doing well. and they've seen a 15% increase in rooms sold since 2006.
Well, a lot of people may not have seen the tornado, but they did have hail.
That's right. We're checking with auto body shops that are already seeing cars that need to be repaired with damage. What you need to know if yours is one of them.
And we may be losing sleep thanks to our gadgets. Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor uncovers how computers, smartphones, all of those things may be keeping us up at night. Well, it seems the key to a good night's sleep may be putting that phone or computer away.
New research shows technology is shortening your bedtime. Target 11 consumer investigator Robin Taylor here live to explain. Robin?
You know, it is so tempting to lounge in front of the TV or computer at night after a long day, but you probably didn't know those high-tech gadgets could prevent you from getting a good night's sleep.
Sleep just isn't a priority when you're in Las Vegas because of the bright lights and entertainment offered on the famous Strip. It's the same reason many of us don't get enough sleep in our own homes.
You begin to have a 24/7 culture of entertainment, and these technologies have invaded the bedroom.
A new National Sleep Foundation poll finds almost 2/3 of U.S. adults say they aren't getting enough sleep, less than 7 hours on the average weeknight. Why? Almost everyone in the survey said they often used some kind of electronic device in the hour before bedtime, like a TV, computer, video game, or cell phone. More than half of teenagers polled said they spent that time texting.
Instead of turning them off, they leave the things on in case an important message comes through, and guess what? Many times those messages are interrupting their sleep even after they've fallen asleep.
Experts say the artificial light emitted from gadgets stimulates our brains, so we're not physically ready to sleep when we're supposed to. The majority of sleep-deprived in the study said the lack of quality shut-eye left them fatigued, moody, and unable to perform at maximum capacity the next day.
Sleepiness also affected safe driving practices. About half the teens in the study said they'd driven while drowsy at least once in the past month. Robin Taylor, Channel 11 News.
All right, Robin, and the U.S. Postal Service announcing major job cuts as it deals with a decline in the number of people who actually use the mail. USPS tells us it will eliminate 7,500 administrative and executive positions across the country. That includes about 2,000 postmasters. The Postal Service will also close 7 of its 75 district offices, none, though, in our immediate area. Well, police were able to track down a suspect who robbed a local family vacationing at Disney World.
And we learn how a stolen phone led to its owner and police right to the suspect.
The key to a good memory could be on your dinner plate. Right now, we'll show you the foods that will keep your brain healthy and find out how often you should eat them.
And continuing severe weather, Team 11 coverage of the storm strike with Chopper 11 over the affected areas. 60 more minutes of news is straight ahead.
Live, local, late breaking. Broadcasting in high definition. Channel 11 News starts with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
From Chopper 11, you really get a sense of just how big and devastating yesterday's tornado in Westmoreland County was. Many of the victims still trying to wrap their heads around all this destruction. Well, this afternoon, the National Weather Service confirmed it was a tornado that hit.
And now the cleanup is underway. Here's the latest. At least 90 homes are damaged in Westmoreland County. Nearly 36 of those homes destroyed. There are reports of some injuries, but most not serious. It will take weeks to clean up the debris, much longer before then everything returns to normal. Channel 11's Rick Earl continues our live Team 11 coverage with what we saw from Chopper 11 after the storm moved through yesterday. Rick?
Well, Derek, trees and debris are everywhere. Take a look behind me. This is a roof from a nearby business that was blown over here. But I want to show you something amazing. If you take a look about 500 yards up that hillside right there, you see a white object. That white object is actually the back part of a tractor trailer. It was actually down where I am, and then it was blown up there when the tornado came roaring through this area. Now, we've been showing you these images from the ground, but right now we want to give you an even better view from Chopper 11. Take a look at Chopper 11 over this home. Its entire roof ripped off in the tornado's path. Now this property gives you a good look at how the tornado went straight through a house, then tore through the trees in the backyard, uprooting them. And for some places, it was more than just a roof. Entire properties were demolished, just debris left behind. Those are the images from Chopper 11. Chopper 11, of course, providing you the best vantage point, showing you the force of this tornado as it tore through these areas here in Westmoreland County and hit a number of communities in a widespread path in a matter of minutes, leaving behind this debris and destruction that people are now having to clean up today. That's the very latest, reporting live near Arona. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
And one of the first pictures of the damage from the storm strike came in from Hempfield High School during our coverage last night at 5:30. The damage so bad, school was canceled today. Channel 11's Lori Hoy shows you what's being done to get the students back in the classrooms.
Disaster recovery teams have been out here at the high school all day. This parking lot was covered with debris, but workers have been collecting it and putting it in trash bins, but the work is far from over. A day after a tornado tore a path of destruction, the cleanup is underway at Hempfield High School.
Today, it's really a period of assessing.
All Hempfield area schools are closed because of the damage, but the high school took the brunt of the storm. We talked to a senior student who stopped by our truck. She was at play practice outside when the tornado hit.
We could hear the roof starting to come in, and we could just hear the hail, and we all ran underneath into a dressing room underneath the stage and just sat there, and the lights went out and all these alarms started going off. The fire alarm was going off. It was horrible.
When we arrived early in the morning, debris is scattered everywhere. The field house is in shambles. Cinder block columns knocked over like dominoes. And at the football field, a scoreboard is twisted metal, while a light pole is dangerously leaning.
It was so scary. You just could hear everyone crying and screaming and praying.
Maintenance trucks and contractors have been in and out nonstop. We've also seen state police on constant patrol. One trooper told me they're looking for looters who are trying to grab scraps of aluminum. Meanwhile, we were there as officials with the National Weather Service, along with the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, get a close-up look at this incredible damage and will determine the strength of the tornado.
No one countywide was injured. We have no fatalities. This is absolutely a March miracle.
And I really want to commend our staff and the students for their involvement in that, in seeing that no one is injured.
The superintendent told me he's also grateful for the outpouring of help from the community. In Hempfield, Westmoreland County, Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
And the tornado also hit Realton, about 10 miles away. We talked with one woman stuck in the path of the storm who grabbed her kids and ran for cover.
We all curled in a ball and just prayed. Just prayed. I'm so happy we're alive.
Ahead at 6, Courtney Brennan has more of this emotional interview and takes us in for a closer look at the damage here. Channel 11 viewers are giving us another perspective of the storm damage. This is a photo posted on WPXI's Facebook page of damage in Realton. This is near the Realton Fire Hall. You can see the strong wind snapped a tree there. Many people are already reaching out to help victims. We want to make sure that you have this phone number. You can donate to the Red Cross by calling 724-834-6510 during regular business hours. Again, the phone number to help out. You see it there on your screen, 724-834-6510. We also have a mailing address and a link under the links mentioned section at WPXI.com.
The big hailstorm also damaged part of the National Aviary building on the north side of Pittsburgh. We found crews there today fixing the skylights. 5 windows were shattered in one of the buildings that contains tropical birds.
A couple cases that totally shattered the panels. So we had glass on our walkway, we had glass in some of the exhibit spaces. It was significant damage, and it certainly spooked the birds.
Unfortunately, none of the birds escaped. The exhibit remains closed for repairs, but should be back open by tomorrow. Our coverage of this major weather story continues online. There you can check out raw video of the storm, plus a slideshow of the storm snapshots. And new at 5:30, a Pittsburgh police officer gets thrown from his motorcycle near Station Square. Our crews at the scene tell us the officer was making a turn onto East Carson Street this afternoon when the sidecar clipped the curb. The officer wasn't seriously injured.